Hello, everyone. Hello, Tamor. Hello, Mahmood. Hello, Elf. Everybody's quiet today. Hello, hello, Elf, hello, Olivia, hello, SSS, hello, Tim, hello. Oh, I can't read it. I don't have my glasses on. Seeker, hello, Seamus. That's a good Irish name, a good Irish name from a Chinese guy. Hello, Seamus, hello, Jasek, hello, oh no, I'm sorry, that's actually Polish, so that's going to be, I'm going to say, is it Jacek? Maybe? I want to say it's Jacek. Sunny and Dongbing, hello, Jesus, and Karen and Abdullah and Kathy. Yes, I am an English teacher. Hello, LeBron. Yeah, Kathy. Right now, I only teach online. Yes. For the last 5 years, I've been teaching online. But I've been a teacher for a long time. I started teaching when I was 18, teaching music and drumming. And then I started teaching English in 2009. Can I give you some suggestions about how to improve English listening? Okay. The first thing that you need to think about when you're practicing English listening is, who are you listening to? Most of the time, I would say at least 80% of the time, when you are listening and you have trouble because you are listening to somebody who is not speaking well. And of course, it's hard to understand somebody if they're not speaking well, right? So, you need to find people who do speak well. That's the first thing. Now, I know that what you're going to say next is, but not everybody speaks well, and I want to understand everybody. But there's a hard truth that you need to hear. When you're learning a new language, you cannot understand everybody. You probably will never understand everybody in a second language. But you can understand the people who speak well. Start with them. Okay? So start with listening to people who speak well. If you can understand me, then you can understand. You just need to listen to people who are more careful about the way they speak. Okay? Not everybody is careful. Very few people are careful about the way they speak anymore. Next question. Hello, Carlos. Is it true that people are talking about kill line on the internet? What is kill line? I don't know what that is. I have no idea what that is. Is that a movie? I have no idea what that means, man. What is a kill line? I don't know what that means. Is that a video game term? I don't play video games, LeBron, so I don't know these childish little terms like kill line. I'm sorry. I don't know what that means. I've never heard that mentioned. It's the first time I've ever heard that mentioned. But I don't spend my time talking to morons on the internet. I'm not saying you do. I'm just saying, just because you hear it on the internet doesn't mean it's worth hearing. Okay, so I don't know what kill line means, but I've never heard it talked about. So I'm going to say it's not important. Okay? I'm sorry if that doesn't help you. Put it this way. Okay, I just did a search for it really quickly here, and I will say that based on what I see here, what it means, I've never heard that term used before, and I don't think that's a good term to use. Only young people who play video games are going to understand that term. That's not a real term, okay? Adults use another term that is more sociological or historical, right? We don't talk about kill line, okay? But for the last 25 years, we've been talking about that concept. But that's not like it's going to happen tomorrow, okay? And at this point, LeBron, at this point, it's really silly to talk about any one country in that regard, because at this point, every country is kind of in the same position, that we're all in a very, very, very precarious position right now. So, anyway, Hello, Jahangir. Hello. Happy New Year. Can I teach you some slang and idioms which are trending right now? Kathy, I don't teach any slang at all. And the reason why is because what you just said. Trending. I don't learn words that are just temporary trends. Right? So, for example, Kathy, I could teach you the word rad. Do you know the word rad? If I say, hey man, that's really rad, what does rad mean? It means cool. But it's from the 1980s. When I was a boy, rad is short for the word radical, and radical means wild. So, if I say that's rad, man, that's or if I say it's the bee's knees, it's the bee's knees, you won't know what that means. The bee's knees also means it's cool. That's from the 1920s, 1930s. The bee's knees. Okay? Slang is temporary language, and it's interesting. But it's only interesting to me sociologically, but not linguistically or practically. So it's interesting to me that their slang is mostly language created by young people to exclude others. It's a way for young people to connect with each other and exclude those people who they don't want to feel connected to. So by using secret language that not everybody knows, it's like an inside joke. But it's still like we usually grow up and we realize that it's childish, right? So like right now everybody's talking about 6'7". And it's like, okay, all right, but it's like that's going to be gone next week. Next week we'll be on to 7'8". My voice is low today. Is my voice okay? Can you guys hear me? Thank you for the Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you. He was talking about the term kill line, which I've never heard before. But sociologically, sure, we always talk about, is the American dream really the American dream? And is it real or is it fake? And is it collapsing or is it going to collapse? Or did it already collapse? But we've been talking about that for decades, you know? And the answer to that question, LeBron, is for some people, this is true, and for some people, it's not true. So it's not so simple as to say that's just what's happening. You saw me in the movie Avatar. Okay, all right. Well, I hope they'll pay me because I never got paid for that. Tamor, you want to come on stage. Do you have a question for me, Tamor? You need to have a question if you want to come on stage. The mic is right here in front of my face. It's not far, and it's turned all the way up. So let me ask you this. Everybody, can you hear me clearly? Is it loud? It should be very loud. Okay, so that means that it's not me, Farah. Why don't you try to leave and come back? Maybe it's the connection that you have. Leave and come back and see if that helps. Okay? Because I think everybody else is fine. Okay? All right. Next question. What's the meaning of I had enough convo for 24? That's a bad... See, who said that, Flavia? If that's a native, then that's an example that That's an example of a native person using bad grammar and shortened language and slang all together. And that happens all the time. So what they mean to say is, I have had enough conversation for one day. I had enough convo meaning conversation, and 24 meaning 24 hours. So I've had enough conversation for one day. They're just saying I've been talking too much today. Yeah. Okay. Am I serious? I'm not sure what I was like. I don't know what I was trying. I don't know what I was talking about now. Okay. A friend of yours taught you the pronunciation of the word biscuit, like biscuit or biscuit. So in America, we usually say biscuit. These are biscuits. Okay? To pronounce it like a biscuit, let me look at something. I have a feeling I know why they do that. Wait a minute. Oh, there it was. So the reason they do that is because the original word actually comes from Latin, biscoctum, which biscoctum means twice baked. Twice baked. So they would bake some bread and then bake it again, and that was called a biscuit. Okay? But the original word in Latin was biscoctum, and then it became biscotto, which is the Italian word. And then it became biscuit, or biscuit, which is the French word. It's the French pronunciation of it. But that is not the original pronunciation, so it's wrong. Because if it were another pronunciation other than biscuit, it would refer back to the original word, not just one of the words in the path of the how do I say this? I'm not explaining it well. It's not biscuit. That's the French pronunciation, and no, that's wrong. It's biscuit. In American English, it's biscuit, for sure. But it comes from the Italian word biscotto, which comes from the Latin word biscoctum. Okay? What is 6-7? It's nothing. 6-7 is a new slang term that the kids are using. It's probably already over now. It's a joke. Again, it's like an inside joke where you say 6-7 like it means something, but it doesn't mean anything. And then when people hear you, they go, oh, what does 6-7 mean? And that's the joke. So if I say, yesterday I walked right up to my friend and I 6-7'd him, you'll be like, what does that mean? And that's the joke. It's stupid. See, this is why I don't teach slang. Which boxer is cool, Manny or Mike? Neither boxer is cool. I hate to tell you, but no boxers are cool. Boxing is not cool. Boxing is two guys beating the crap out of each other for money. It's not cool. It's kind of stupid. It's abjectly stupid. If your only choice in life was to get into a ring to beat the crap out of another guy, you're not the brightest guy. If that was your only choice in life, was I'm going to choose to be a violent human being just for money, that's a pretty sad choice. But it is something that when I face Native Americans, I'm sure that they are using while I do not know what they mean, right? Kathy, how old are you, Kathy? Let me ask you that first. 34. So if you're 34 and you're talking to most people who are in your age range, 34 or older, no, Kathy, 34-year-old people don't use childish slang anymore. We grow out of it. Slang is high school language. It's maybe college language, so if you want to talk to high school kids and college kids, sure, you might need that. But the truth is, most college kids, if you talk to a college kid, they should be smart enough, I hope, to have enough sense that if they're talking with somebody from a foreign country, they should have enough sense to know, oh, she doesn't know what 6'7" means, so I'm not going to say it. Because it's kind of rude to use language that somebody doesn't know when they're there, when you could use other language. So I think most college kids should have enough sense to change their language to be more generalistic and plain without the slang color for you. As that's like a way of welcoming you by making sure you don't feel excluded from the language. Okay? High school kids and college kids, high school kids might use language that you don't know because that's what they do. They're high school kids. They want to exclude other people on purpose. It's what slang is there for. It's a way to have a group. Okay? And it's a way for them to assert dominance when they have no dominance. Okay? It's a psychological thing. Children use language that is powerful for them because it's the only power they have. Okay? All right. Next question is... Are able and able common spelling mistakes for learners and native speakers? For example, convertible, accessible. Yes, I think that is probably a pretty common mistake that many people make. Even me, even myself. I'm sure that I have had to think about those words a few times. Like, sometimes you get, you confuse yourself. Right? You know what it is, but then you question yourself and you're like, oh, I don't know. Then you have to check, right? But these days, Mermate, most of the time when I type, there's a spell checker on. You need to do that, everybody. If you're using English, then switch to the English keyboard. Because the English keyboard will correct you, and you can use that as a tool of learning. So if you spell something wrong or you don't know how to spell it, it will prompt you so you see it. That's not a bad thing. It can be used as a learning tool if you pay attention to it. Okay? Next question. My vocabulary is near nothing. Please give you some tips to improve it. Okay, you need to go to this page and read this article. One moment, let me find the right article. I wrote an article about vocabulary, and that's the article you need, and it is right here. This is my blog article that I wrote about vocabulary. Okay, next question. Please be patient. You must wait. There are 60 people in the room right now. So if you have a question and you're waiting, be patient because I'm answering all the questions, not just yours. Okay? Next question. When I pronounce the word girl, it's like Yao, okay, which is common for a lot of Russians. That's that nye, that like niet, that word, right? Like in Jamaican English, you're saying. That's interesting. Yeah, I think you're not. It's not really Jamaican. It's more that Russian nye sound that's coming out is what I would guess. Hello, Gabriel. Happy New Year. French people make the spelling basket, but that's because it is a word in French. USA Cats, it's also a word in French. Okay, so there is a French spelling. That's the French spelling. Okay? Hello, Anut. Hello, Jaja. Hello, Nilo. Hello, everyone. Okay, so Tamor, you have questions. Okay, let me try to catch up with the comments, and if you're still here, I'll try to get you on stage. But Tamor, I usually don't talk to people too much because I have too many people to help. All right, so I only have a few minutes to answer your questions if you want to come on stage, okay? What's the best way to show your full potential in language tests like the IELTS? Abdullah, prepare. Be prepared. That's all you can do. That's all you can do. Think about language like music, Abdullah. Do you sound good? When someone says, this is musical, it sounds very musical, that means it sounds good to your ears. So I want you to make your language musical. Does it sound good when you hear it? If it sounds good, they will like it. If it's musical, they will like it. All right? I know that's a very abstract answer. Okay, Yusuf, if you have a question, write it in the chat. Guys, write your questions in the chat. I have too many people to help. Yesterday, I talked for 2 hours. I had people on stage yesterday. Today, I'm answering questions mostly in the chat. All right? If you have a question, I'll answer it. Just put it in the chat. All right? I know you want to practice, but this is not why I'm here. I am not here to help you practice. I am here to answer questions. I am a teacher. My time is valuable. I must help everyone, not just you. Okay? I am not here to practice language with you. I'm sorry. That's not my purpose. Okay? Violence is a basic instinct and contact directly to our human nature. Waleed, so does that mean that you are violent and you have no control over your violence? No, you have control over your violence. Primitive, barbaric people are the ones who don't have control. If you have control, then you make a choice and you say, we don't need to live like that anymore. There is no need to beat people up anymore in the streets or on a stage. There is no need for that kind of silly entertainment. It has nothing to do with whether it's connected to our past. Lots of things are connected to our past, and we left them behind. We used to eat people. Humans have a history of cannibalism. Should we do that too? How can you be polite? Yusuf, to be polite, just use the magic word, please. Please, may I have some? Please, may I? May I is always better than can I. Okay? So please, may I have some milk? Please, may I ask a question? Please, may I use the restroom? That's how you can be polite. Always say please. Okay, thank you, Vicky. You want to learn the American accent? Is it enough to hear my room? No, it's not enough. You have to do a lot more. If you want to learn, you have to do many things, not just one. Learning is not an act of efficiency. If you are trying to learn in the fastest and quickest way, then you are not trying to learn. Let me say that again. If you are trying to learn in the fastest and the quickest way, then you are not trying to learn. You're trying to impress people with your knowledge. You're trying to impress people with facts. You're trying to learn only the numbers without the understanding. What's the best way for you to stay focused on your studies? Sometimes you feel a bit lost. I forget the words I study. I end up feeling unmotivated. Nadia, you have to have many, many ways to keep yourself interested. So when people say, what's the best way to learn English? The best way to learn anything is every way. So Nadia, let me teach you, I'm going to give you an example from my life. Nadia, when I was younger, I'm a drummer. So I would learn the drums. When I was 15 or 16 or 17 years old, I was obsessed with drumming. I spent all day drumming, reading about drums, listening to drums, playing drums, practicing, studying, learning. And I get easily distracted, and sometimes I lose my focus and lose my interest. But I decided what I'm going to do is I'm going to not just get one book. Like when I learned the piano, I hated the piano because I had one book and my teacher would only let me do one book. So I could only play the music in that and only that. And if I didn't like that, then I don't like it. So drums, I did something different. I went and I read articles from all my favorite drummers to find out what books did they use. What books did my favorite drummers go through? What did they recommend? And I made a list of all of them. And then I saved up my money and I bought almost all of them. It was like 30 or 35 books. Okay, so I had a stack of books about this tall. All right, and there was books about everything, about rock, about jazz, about blues, about reading, about classical music, about history. There was so many things, many, many different ways. So here's what I did. I would pick up one book and practice in that book until I got bored or tired or frustrated. Then I would take a break for a minute and try to play with whatever idea I was just trying to learn. I would try to play with it for a few minutes, like 10 or 15 minutes. I would just try to play with whatever idea I was just learning so that it's not just study, that you play with it too. And then I would say, okay, let me pick up the next book. Oh, let's do some jazz. That's different. Now I'm interested again, right? Now I can do Brazilian music after that, do some bossa nova. Okay, some samba. Then I could do, let me study, Duke Ellington's music. Let me go and study this. So by having variety in your study, you can keep yourself interested. All right? All right. Oh, man. Hello, Romana. Okay, Tamor, thank you. Yes, you are waiting, and you've been patient, so I will bring you up. I just finished catching up with the comments. Hello, Tamor.
It's really nice to talk to you.
Hello, yes, nice to see you too. And you are in Iran. Are you in Tehran or where?
No, a city near Tehran.
What's the name of it so I can learn?
It's Karaj.
Karaj, okay, all right. And what can I do for you today, Tamor? What questions do you have for me?
I wrote down a few quick questions to
Okay.
ask you.
Okay, great.
My first question, what is the difference between expression and idiom?
People worry too much about this. It doesn't matter. It's not important. Some of them are both. Some of them, if you go look online and you do a search and you say make a list of idioms and then make a list of phrases, some of them will be in both. Like it's not an art. Or, I'm sorry, it's not a science. It's an art. Okay, so there are some phrases that are just phrases like like you should save every dollar. That's a phrase. You should save every penny. But that's just a phrase. But a penny saved is a penny earned. That's an idiom. All right? They mean the same thing, but they're just two different things. So I hear this question a lot. Many people ask me, what's the difference between an idiom and a phrase or a saying? And the truth is, it does not matter at all. They are all some kind of small story, lesson, or idea that's worth hearing. That's all. It's a story, a lesson, or an idea that's worth hearing. That's all. Okay?
Okay. The next question. In my language, there is a word for someone who experiences the highest level of depression, sorrow, or let me say disappointment. Okay. Is there any English word for that person?
So it's a person who experiences great loss of some kind. Great loss and sadness.
Yes, exactly.
Let me think. Wait a minute. Let me do a little looking.
Okay.
Let's see. Almost. Okay, yes. I think the word that you want to use is maybe a bereaved person. Bereaved. The word B-E-R-E-A-V-E-D. Bereaved. This is a very interesting word. It has a really interesting history. I love to teach about the word, like where it comes from. There are a couple other words you could use too. Like bereaved, you could say grief-stricken. Grief-stricken means to be stricken with something, means to be filled with or to be sick with something. So if you're grief-stricken, grief is like sadness or loss. So grief-stricken means filled with sadness and loss. Mourning, a person who is in mourning, not M-O-R-N-I-N-G, but M-O-U-R-N-I-N-G. That's sadness. To mourn is to be sad. Right? So maybe someone dies and you say, I'm in mourning for the loss of my husband or my wife. I'm in mourning, right? That's M-O-U-R, not M-O-R, okay? And then heartbroken, that's a basic one. Inconsolable, maybe. Inconsolable. To console somebody means to make them feel better. Like, oh, it's okay, don't worry. But sometimes you feel so bad that no one can help you. Nobody's words matter. The words don't mean anything to you. You are inconsolable. You can't be consoled. Okay? So those are the words I would use. But let's go back to the first one because I think it's the best one. Bereaved. A bereaved person is a person who's sad, usually because of death or loss. Like maybe your father or your husband or your wife died. Now, the history of this word is very interesting. This comes from Scotland and England a long time ago. I'm going to tell you a great story. Do you know who Neil Armstrong is?
Yes, the first person who walked on the moon.
That's right, yeah. And after he came back, he was very famous, and he decided, I want to go to where my family is originally from and see the original place where my family comes from. And his name is Armstrong, and that is a family name from Scotland from a long time ago. It's a very famous family name from Scotland. And so he went to this small town in Scotland. And when he went there, the mayor of the town came out and showed him a 400-year-old law. It was this scroll. It was a law. And it said, if you find any Armstrong in town, kill them. and he was like, wow, wait, what? And here's the reason why. Because for many hundreds of years, the Scottish and the British, Scotland is here and Britain and England is here, they fought about the land. Like, who owns the land on the edge, right? So is the border here or is the border here, right? So any family who lived near the border of Scotland and England, those families were called the border reiver families. And reiver was a word that used to mean robber, like a stealer. right? So the British people said they're reavers. It means like they're robbers. They're stealing our land from us, right? The British would always tell them, that they're the robbers, right? But the Scottish didn't feel like that. That no, this is our land. That's our land. That they felt like, right? So the word bereaved is because the Scottish and the English were always fighting over the land there, and when they fought, they killed each other, and sometimes when I'm sad because they killed my husband because of the land, right? And so there's another word, to retrieve. Do you know the word retrieve?
I hear that, but I don't know the meaning.
It means to get back something that you lost, right? I'm going to retrieve it. Like I threw it, now I'm going to retrieve it, right? So they have a dog. There's a dog called the Golden Retriever. That's the golden dog. And that's what they do. You throw a stick and they'll go get it. They retrieve it, right? So this word, again, is related to this history of Scotland and England where they would fight and they would steal their land, and then you would go get it back, and that's to retrieve it. So there are a bunch of words: bereaved, retrieve, reaver, robber, rob. All of those words come from this story about Scotland and England fighting each other over land. So that word, bereaved, is probably the best word I would use to describe somebody who's filled with sadness. Now, usually it's filled with sadness because of a loss of life, like your husband or your wife or your daughter, your son or your father died, and now you're sad, so you're bereaved. Okay?
Yeah.
Reavers is spelled, let me think, I think the reaver is spelled R-E-V, let me check it. The Border Reavers. Yeah, it's spelled R-E-I-V-E-R-S. R-E-I-V-E-R-S. That's Reaver. That's the Reavers. Okay, so they were the robbers. That's what they were considered to be, like robbers, because they always had to be on the run. They were always wanted, right? The British were always trying to hunt them and find them and kill them. So they were always having to move and hide, and then they would come and steal things back and then hide again. And it's a very interesting story. But this is part of why language is so interesting, because through history, when different things happen, now we create words about those things, and those words now exist forever.
Yeah, you're right. Mark, listening to you is not boring, and I can listen to you the whole day.
Wow, that's a very big compliment. Thank you very much.
You were really helpful today.
Thank you. I'm glad. I appreciate that. And thank you for being patient. I appreciate that.
Let me ask you my very last question.
Sure.
You said about patience. When we run out of sugar, for example, we say we are running out of sugar, okay?
Mm-hmm.
What about patience? How can I say that?
We say the same thing. Run out of patience.
Really?
Yeah. I'm running out of patience. I've lost my patience. I have no more patience. Yeah, I'm out of patience.
Okay.
Yeah, you can just talk about patience like it's something that you can hold, right? Like I don't have any more. I have no more patience for this. Yeah.
It was really interesting.
Good. I'm glad. Thank you. That's what I like to do.
To be honest with you, I really envy you.
You envy me. Okay. Why?
Yes. Because I can't speak fluently like you.
Oh, but I'm sure you can in your language. So that's the thing. Remember, I can't speak like this in your language. You can, right? So I'm glad you can understand me and you like my words. That's why learning a language is a beautiful thing, because then you can listen to the words of somebody else, and it's like hearing a new kind of music. Now you can appreciate this new kind of music and understand it. You know, like when I first heard jazz when I was a boy, first heard jazz and I was like, I don't understand that. It's too difficult for me. But then later I learned it and I understood it. And now when I listen to jazz, many people, they're still like, I don't understand. But I understand because it's a language that I know now. So when I hear it, it's like, oh, wow, I love that. It's cool. That's what's great about learning a language. Now you can experience the music of other people, you know?
Okay, I'm leaving. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome.
Can't thank you enough.
You're welcome, my friend. Take care, and I'll see you next time, okay? All right, for sure. Bye-bye. Okay, all right, that was good. All right, let me go back and make sure I didn't miss any comments. Let me check on my YouTube people. Hello over here, Ricardo. Sometimes I feel like my English level is stuck at the same level. How to overcome this? Okay, so let's talk about that. When you are learning anything, in the beginning, learning is fast and fun. And you go like, wow, I'm learning, I'm growing, it's great, I love this is wonderful. But the more you learn, your growth starts to become smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. And eventually your growth feels flat. That is called plateauing. A plateau is a flat area of land, usually a high flat area of land, if I remember correctly. But we also use this word plateauing to talk about the process of learning and how when you learn, eventually you start to feel like you're stuck, like you can't go any further, and then you have to figure out what to do. And usually the thing you need to do is you need a new angle. Learning is about angles, okay? So if I am learning about my cup, this is my cup, I'm learning about my cup. The first angle I'm going to do, I'm going to look at it straight, like right straight forward. This is the first way to look at it. But that's not the only way to look at it. There are many angles. Right? So are you looking at all the angles or did you just choose one? Right? So for example, there are 8 parts of learning in language: reading, writing, listening, speaking, thinking, grammar, vocabulary, and pronunciation. So you could look at those 8 things and say, did I work on all of those? Do I have a plan for all of those? Do I have materials for all of those? Do I have games for all of those? Do I have teachers or podcasts or anything that I can listen to for listening, for reading, for writing, whatever? If you are plateauing, it's usually because you don't have enough varied input. Your input is just singular, one. You have one kind of input, and now you're bored. You're just bored. That's how that works. But if you rejuvenate your learning, rejuvenate means to make it new again. Make it new again. Get a new teacher, get a new book, watch a new video, listen to a new podcast, try a new thing. That is how you get over plateauing. Okay? Okay. Slow and steady wins the race. Well, yes, slow and steady does win the race, but slow and steady and varied wins faster too, right? So if the fast guy, if the guy who's only worried about fast, he's the last one, okay? And the one who's slow and steady, they're second. But do you know who's first? The one who's slow and steady and varied. That's who wins. Okay? what do I do for a living? I'm doing it right now. I'm a teacher. Okay, if you have questions, you should ask me. My name is Teacher Mark. I have been on Hello Talk for over 12 years. I am an English teacher. It is my job. I have been teaching English since 2009. I have been on live streams here for 5 years. I have done more than 1,200 live streams for more than 2,000 hours of teaching. And 87,000, almost 88,000 people follow me here for English learning because they know that I'm a real teacher. I have a website. It's here. You can go sign up. It's free. I have a YouTube channel. It's here. Go sign up. It's free. I have a blog. It's here. Go sign up. It's free. Okay? All right, next question. You have a lot of problems with writing. My keyboard corrects me, but I know many words that I can't write them. I can't spell them. It takes practice, Nilofar. It takes practice. I think that some phonics practice helps, but the truth is many English words do not spell the way they are sound. The way they sound, right? They don't spell, you don't spell them the same way they sound. Like the word though, Though. That doesn't sound like it's spelled, right? There's a lot of those silent letters in there, right? Those are words you just need practice with. That's why you need to read a lot. If you read a lot, you're spending time with the language. Let me explain something to you guys. Please listen. Learning a language is like jumping into a pool of water. So right now you have 2 pools of water. You have your native language pool, and you're spending all your time in that water. So all of your time, every day, you are only in the one pool. You're in the native language pool. Then you have your English language pool over here. But you only spend a very small amount of time in the English pool every day. That's why you forget. So it's very simple. If you want to remember, then you need to be in that pool more. Okay? It's very boring for me, I'm afraid. Yeah, it's very boring for everybody, Nilo. But that's, this is... If learning were easy, everyone would do it. It's not easy. That's why only some people do it. It's supposed to be hard. That's the nature of learning. Okay? That's why we respect people who learned a lot. We respect people who have a lot of knowledge because we know it's not easy to get that knowledge. Okay? Okay, next question. I have more hours teaching than a pilot flying. Yeah, I do. A lot more. That's too many hours to even count, man. If you go back to when I started teaching, I was 18. Good Lord. That's thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of hours. How can you learn how to describe images for an exam? Practice, Kelsey. Practice, practice, practice. Use ChatGPT. Use ChatGPT. Tell ChatGPT, hey, please give me an image for me to practice describing in English. And then tell me how I did. You can do that all day. Just tell ChatGPT, hey, please give me an image for me to practice describing using English. Okay? How can you practice English speaking? So Is it Soad? Soad, if you want to practice English speaking, you must speak. So you have to find people to speak with, like on Hello Talk. Or if you live in a big city, if you're in Algeria, maybe there are some native English speakers in Algiers. Go to Algiers if you're not there. The next time you're there, go to any place that serves Western food and see if there's a Western person there. And you can go say, "Hi, my name is Sod, and I want to practice my English. Can I buy you some French fries?" Something like that, okay? Or practice with other people like you. Find somebody who also practices English, not a native, and practice with them. That's still good practice. Or find somebody who knows nothing. Suad, find somebody who knows nothing and teach them what you know. Teach them. Teaching is the greatest form of practice. Okay? And if you can't find a native speaker and you can't find a non-native speaker and you can't find someone to teach, then talk to yourself. Talk to the TV when it's on. When you're watching TV, talk about it. When you're in the bathroom, talk to the mirror. If you have a dog or a cat, talk to them. Okay? Can I use the word doubloons? Where did you see that? Doubloons are, it's an old kind of coin. It's an old kind of treasure coin, like a gold doubloon, right? But that's not a common word. It's not a common word. I really hate the Gboard or Google correction. I feel it doesn't help at all. I really want to get rid of it. It's not depending on it. So, Waleed, let's do this. Look at what you just wrote to me, Waleed. What you just wrote to me has how many mistakes in it? You didn't capitalize teacher. There should be a comma after teacher. Your I is a small I when it should be a big I. I'm not even sure what Gboard is. After correction, you should have a period. The next I should be capitalized. It should be a separate sentence. I feel it doesn't help at all. Should be a period, a separate sentence. I really want to get rid of it and not depend on it. Should be a separate sentence. So, Waleed, why am I correcting all of those? Because my point is that you need to adjust your internal corrections. You, not Gboard or Google. You. You need to look at your words and say, no. Teacher should be capitalized. I should be capitalized. There should be a comma here. There should be a period here. You need to step up your game. That's called stepping up your game. It means you're too lazy. You're being too easy on yourself. That's not the problem of Google. That's your problem. Okay? If you're more strict with yourself for a time period, like choose 6 months, Waleed. For 6 months, I want you to be really strict. Do not write unless it's good. Do it well. Or don't do it at all. Okay? If you do that for 6 months, after 6 months, you don't have to think about it anymore. You will just be like that. Okay? What can you read as you're a beginner? Go to this website, ESLFast. Type it. ESLFast.com. It's a free website that has free reading. A couple thousand easy free stories. Okay? A couple thousand of them. Okay, next question. Hello, Holden. Thank you very much. Can I tell you about words that in the dictionary there are many translations for them in your language? It can be so confusing to know which one. Nilafar, that's the way language always works. Okay? In English, we have many, many synonyms. That means words that mean the same thing. The reason we do that is because we don't like to use the same word all the time. For example, if I say, I'm eating a big pizza in a big room at a big table with my big friends in a big building on a big, I don't know, farm. That's too many bigs. I could say I'm having a big pizza in a huge building with an enormous table and my tall friend, and, right? We use a different word for each time. Okay? Is it more important, or should you know all the meanings? You can't know all of the meanings, but you can learn some of them and choose the ones that you think are the best for you. That's the way it works. When you learn language, you are learning your music. Your music. Your music will be different than my music. So that means that maybe you like these words, but I like these words, right? Your favorite word is gigantic, but my favorite word is enormous. We're different. That's different music. I make this music, you make that music. They're both good. Okay? Is stammering uncommon in American English? I hear stuttering more than stammering. It's more common in the UK. That's a good question. I don't necessarily know about if it's a... I don't think it... That's... Let me think about that. It's possible that it could be a UK American variant situation, right? Like in the UK they say stammering, and here we say stuttering. In America, we do say stammering occasionally, but stuttering has a more specific meaning. To stutter is the word we use when we're talking about somebody who's going stutter, right? My name is Mark. That's stuttering, okay? Now, stammering is sometimes people think they're the same exact thing, and that's fine. Some people may consider them to be equal. For me, I think stammering is a little bit less like stuttering. Like stuttering is on the letters and stammering is on the words. So if you are saying something like, I want to go more, I want to, that's stammering. Do you understand the difference? Stuttering is on the letters. Stammering is on the words. That's the way I define it. Let me see what AI says. Oh, interesting. Wait a minute. Okay, so here's my new answer. According to this, they are the same. In the UK and in the US, stammering and stuttering mean the same thing. They mean a disorder that's a psychological thing usually, and it's the same, right? Like stuttering. Okay, so functionally, they're the same. They're just regionally different. But in America, if you ask an American the difference, I think that they might give the answer that I gave, which is that stuttering is more like on a letter and stammering is more like when you're stumbling over your words. Okay? They're slightly different. Okay? Can I give you some suggestions on how to reach C1 level? You got stuck in B1 and B2. Rithwick, you're not stuck in B1 or B2. You are not stuck. You think you're stuck. But let me explain why you think you're stuck. I want you to think about every level of English as a neighborhood, okay? And there are some neighborhoods that are smaller and some neighborhoods that are bigger. So the A1 neighborhood and the A2 neighborhood, they're not very big neighborhoods, so you can get through them pretty quickly. You can learn them pretty quickly. You can know them pretty quickly. But the B1 and the B2 neighborhoods are huge neighborhoods with lots of words and lots of grammar and lots of vocabulary, lots of things to know. So it takes much, much, much longer to get through those neighborhoods because they're bigger neighborhoods. That's all. Okay? Now, it's possible you might need some help, but what I would say is maybe the other thing that you could do. It's likely that the answer is that you're not really stuck, you're just not finished yet. Okay? That's probably the answer. But if you want to improve your learning and make it feel like you're moving forward more, then you need to change it up. You need to do something different. You need to find a new angle to look at. Okay? That's what learning is. Learning is you're looking at something. But most people, when they learn, they just look at it from the one angle. And that's not good. That's not good learning. When you really want to learn, you look at the front angle, but you also look at the sides and the back and every angle that you can see. So try another angle. Try another podcast, another way, another method, a YouTube channel with a different way. Try a book, a different book. Maybe you went through this grammar book, try a different grammar book. Whatever. The point is that probably it's just a big neighborhood and you just haven't finished yet. But you could increase your learning by trying to increase your variety of learning. Okay? All right? Okay. Wow, it's been an hour and 10 minutes already. Let me check over here my YouTube. Maria, hello Maria, how are you? Good to see you always. Maria, thank you for being so loyal and watching me for so long. Okay, give me your questions. Give me your questions. I'm not here to practice chatting. I'm sorry. I'm not. I'm not here to practice chatting. I am here to answer questions. If you have them, then you should ask them. Okay? Good students have questions. And good students have good questions. If you ask the question, how can I be good at English? I think you're probably not a good student. And I'll tell you why. Because that's a very lazy question. That's a lazy question. That question tells me you don't want to do the work. You want somebody else to do all the work for you and tell you how to do it. That's why you ask the big question. Because you don't want to ask 1,000 small ones. You just want to ask one big one. Okay? How do you ask questions when you don't know English? Use the translation if you have to. You're confused with yet, still, till, and until. Okay, let me look at those for a moment. Yet versus still versus until versus what was the last one? Till. Yeah, but we're all lazy inside. No, we're not. Well, yes, we are, but no, we're not. If you are, great, fine. But don't blame anybody else when you can't do things. Stop blaming everybody else. Why are you looking around and saying, I can't do it? Why can't I do it? You're like it's somebody else's problem. It's not. If you are lazy, that's your problem. My voice is sounding very boomy today. How can you remove procrastination? Incon, here's what I will tell you, okay? Why do we procrastinate? We procrastinate because it doesn't feel dangerous. Procrastination feels safe because it feels like, oh, I can do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. That's what procrastination means. Pro means forward, and crastus, I think is the word, is the Latin word that means tomorrow. So the original word procrastination means for tomorrow. It means I'm going to do it tomorrow. All right? But we do it because it doesn't feel dangerous. But let me ask you a question. If you're driving down the street, if we're driving down the street, let's say we're driving down the highway. We're driving down the highway, and I'm holding the steering wheel. Now, if I take my hands off the steering wheel, and I don't have a Tesla, this is not a Tesla. I don't drive Teslas. So, if I take my hands off the wheel for just 1 second, that's probably okay, right? If I just take my hands off the wheel for 1 second and put them on, that's okay. That's not dangerous, right? But if I take my hands off the wheel for 3 seconds, that's a little more dangerous. If I take my hands off the wheel for 10 seconds, that's a little more dangerous. That's a lot more dangerous. If you take your hands off the wheel for 30 seconds, what is probably going to happen if you take your hands off the wheel for 30 seconds on a highway? That's right, you're going to crash. So, Incon, guess what? Procrastination is the same thing as taking your hands off the wheel. You are living right now. Your life is on a highway. It's driving down the highway of life. And now you have taken your hands off the wheel because we'll do it tomorrow. Okay? Now, if you procrastinate for a small amount of time, it's probably okay. Just like in a car, when you take your hands off the wheel. For a second, it's okay. But if you procrastinate for too much, it's like taking your hands off the wheel for 30 seconds on the highway. Don't be surprised when you crash. You're going to crash. Your hands are not on the wheel. So, next time you procrastinate, try to think about how it is dangerous. What you're doing is dangerous. You're taking your hands off the wheel of life. That means that whatever happens is out of your control. You are not controlling your life anymore. So now, if something happens, that's your fault. That's your fault. It's your fault. You did it. Okay? Sandu, shall we start one topic for one day? I don't know what you mean by that. Sandu, if you don't know what we're doing, then maybe just listen a little bit, okay? People ask me a lot of questions. Usually, they ask questions that are common questions. So it's a question that you have, all right? So just maybe listen, okay? All right, what was the next question? What? What? I have no idea what that means. No girlfriend, no problem. No boyfriend, no problem. No money, big problem. So how to make money? Guess what? If you make money, if you make a lot of money, if you make the most money in the world, but you have no character, then you will have lots of girls and lots of people around you, but none of them will be real. So earning a bunch of money is not the solution to everything. Just look at both Musk and Trump. Yeah, they're rich, sure. Okay? They're rich, but they are broken people. They are so broken, it's sad. I mean, they are just like emotionally broken. It's obvious to anybody who has eyes. So, don't worry about making money. Worry about making yourself a good person. In what way can you learn academic English? Well, Frank, you can't until you learn basic English. Okay? So, Frank, I would say you have to reach the B2 C1 level before you can start with academic or scholarly English. All right? You have to reach the B2 C1 level. All right? At the minimum B2. Okay? Sandhu, I don't take orders from others. I have been here for 12 years. I have 88,000 followers. They follow me because I do valuable things. But I'm not going to just do what you want. Okay? Just listen. Listen. Without money, people could be broken, sadly. Yeah, sure, okay, you need some money. But guess what? If your only focus in life is making money, then you will be a broken person. You will be a broken person. Money is something that you should get from being a good person. Make yourself a good person, learn a skill, learn a talent that benefits others. Learn a skill that benefits the world, and then make your money from doing that. That is a wholesome way to make money. If your only focus is, I'm going to make money and I don't care how I'm going to make the money, I just want money because money gives me power, and power gives me everything I want, then you're just a POS. Look it up. POS. So, I don't encourage that. I encourage people to be good people. Money should come as a reward for doing something valuable. Not valuable to you, valuable to everyone. If you're just trying to get money because you think money is the solution, then you are the problem. I'm not yelling at you, I'm yelling at anyone and everyone. Okay? It's called passion. It's called passion. What about the vocabulary B2 to C1? What about it, Chia? What about it? When you start learning something new, you don't finish and switch to other things instead of mastering them. Okay, I didn't say switch to other things. I said switch to other angles of the same thing. So when you learn one thing, there are thousands of angles to learn that thing. I'm not saying that you're learning math and now you should take a break and learn science or art. No, I'm saying when you learn math, you should look at it from this angle and from this angle and from this angle and from every angle. Those are different ways to do the same thing. Okay? What's the difference between join in and join? Mayola. Très bien. Doesn't matter. Okay? So, 有时候你可以说 I want to join in， 有时候你可以说 I want to join， 都可以，都可以，随便 ，OK， 差不多的意思。It's not life, it's the reward for your knowledge or your skill or your value to others. That's what it should be. It should be something you get because you were valuable to other people. Okay? Academic English. Xie, did you go to my website? Go to my website. And on my website, you have to sign up for it. And 我感觉如果你是中国人，很多的中国人他们需要用那个梯子 ，OK？ 如果你要去哪里，你需要用梯子 ，OK？ But if you go to my website, on my website, there is a button called Resources, and then there's another button for Vocabulary. Click on that, and you'll find lots of links for learning vocabulary. Okay, next question. How to become an online tutor for abroad students? Are there any companies? You're a master in math. Jiva, yeah, there are lots of companies like Cambly, right? There are lots of companies for teaching online. Just ask ChatGPT the same thing you just asked me. It will tell you everything you need to know. I promise. Okay? Ask them. Okay? Recently, my work is so busy. How can I learn less? Okay. Libra, when you're a very busy person, you have to find ways to make learning happen when you're doing other things, right? So if I'm trying to learn right now, like let's say I'm trying to learn Chinese right now, maybe while I'm teaching today, I will think of some things that I want to know how to say in Chinese. Like, oh, I just said this in English. I should learn that in Chinese too. Let me write that down. Okay? So, yeah, just you've got to make it active learning, part of your lifestyle learning. Okay? Do the high-paid job now or do the job you like? I always do the job I like. I can't do anything I don't like. I think that's the way you're supposed to be. Not liking things is part of evolution. When you don't like something, that means, oh, this is not good. Maybe there's a better way. That's evolution telling you there should be a better way. You should make a better way. Okay? Now, sometimes it's not, but in many cases, when you feel something is not good, that's a real feeling. You should listen to it. Okay? Now, you can't always in life. In life, there are some times when you have to do things, right? But not always. There are some times in life when you have a choice. And when you have a choice, you should make those choices. Okay? Hello, Nora. 好久不见. You're welcome, Yusuf. Okay, I have about 5 minutes left. 5 minutes. If you have questions, ask me your questions. If you have questions about English or whatever, reading, writing, listening, speaking, grammar, vocabulary, pronunciation, okay, you can ask me that. Dana says, maybe do the job which has a good future. But you don't know what the future is anymore. Nobody knows what the future is anymore. 10 years ago, they would ask you, where will you be in 5 years? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? But that question is now a stupid question. Because no one has any idea what 5 years is going to look like now. because things are changing too quickly. It's the rate of change has increased so much that it is silly. It's absolutely silly to try to imagine beyond 1 year. We don't know what this year is going to be like. Look what has happened already. It's not even February yet, and we're already into crazy stuff in this year. Crazy stuff is happening around the world. So, nobody knows where they're going to be in the future. So that's why it's so important that you should think about not the future and not the past, but you should think about, am I doing something valuable? Am I doing something beneficial for myself and others? And that is the path you should stay on. You should be on a path of growth. Okay? We have gotten... Humanity's biggest problem is that we forgot that our biggest job is to grow up. Humanity's biggest problem is that we forgot that we're not supposed to make a bunch of money. We're not supposed to have a bunch of power. We're supposed to grow up. We're supposed to learn. We're supposed to become better. That's what we're supposed to do. Okay? Do I believe about quarter-life crisis? Nah. I don't really believe about midlife crisis, so I definitely don't believe about quarter-life crisis. I think that if you're in the quarter of your life, you should be thankful. If you're 25 years old, then you are living life well. Why? Because you're young. Be happy. Don't worry. Be happy. I'm so out of key. Okay, next. Can I recommend a book that I really enjoyed for you to read? Sure, Nadia. Let me give you one that I love to recommend. It's a little hard, but I think you look like your level is good. It's called The Count of Monte Cristo. Do you know that book? The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexander Dumas. When I was a boy, we would have this book in class. We would all laugh about his name because his name, D-U-M-A-S, it looks like dumbass. You know, when you're a kid, you're like, oh, look, it's Alexander Dumbass. But it's a French name, and it's Dumas. But this book, I love this book. Why do I love this book? Because it's a story, it's a novel, it's about romance, it's about revenge, it's about love, it's about politics, it's about social class and status, it's about pirates and castles and rich people and poor people, and it's great. It has something for everybody. You know, this book has something for everyone. So I love that book, and it also has a couple of different movie variations. There's a few movie versions. One of them I think is very good. There was one made in the early 2000s. Let me see. I can't remember what year it was. Let's see. Count of Monte Cristo. (2002). Yeah, 2002. I think there are like 3 or 4 different versions of this movie. But the 2002 version, I think, is great. It's quite good. Okay? So you can watch the movie and read the book. Both of them. Okay? If you are rich, you'll choose the job you like. If you're not rich, maybe you'll choose the job with high paid. And that's the choice we make in life, Dana. Right? Some people choose to do a job that pays a bunch of money, but they don't like that job. I don't care if that's what you do, as long as one thing is true. I only have a problem with that if you are willing to do a job that is evil, there are many people who are willing to do jobs that are not good for anyone. They're hurtful, but they make a lot of money. So, I am fine with you choosing to do a job that's not what you like but makes a bunch of money, as long as you can still keep your morals and ethics. As long as you can keep your morals and ethics, then I'm fine with you choosing a job that makes a lot of money. But here's the problem. The more money your job makes, the more likely it's not ethical. There is a direct relationship between how much money you make and how moral you are. That's true. It's unavoidably true. If you make $1 billion, you're not a good person. Nobody with $1 billion can be good. It's not possible. Do you know how many decisions that you have to make that hurt people to get $1 billion? That's true. So they might look nice, they might smile, they might dress well, but that doesn't mean they're good. Yes, Juma, you also heard that in the Shawshank Redemption movie. That's right. Yes. Okay, and I missed about this one. Teacher Mark, what are some common grammatical slips that native speakers make that you think we should avoid as learners? I did a post about this a long time ago. Let me see if I can find it here. Let me think. What did I do with that? Let me think a minute. It's a few years ago I wrote this thing about this. Let me see. Okay, well, I'll give you a few of them, and then I'm going to give you a website, okay? So the most common grammatical mistakes that I hate, especially when native speakers do them, it's pathetic when I see a native speaker who does not know the difference between their, T-H-E-R-E, their, T-H-E-I-R, and their, T-H-E-Y, apostrophe R-E. That drives me crazy. If you are older than 10 years old, you should know the difference. And your, Y-O-U-R, and Y-O-U apostrophe R-E. Those two mistakes right there, there are at least 1 million Americans, probably more like 10 million Americans, that make those mistakes every day. I'm probably being, I don't know, there are, 360 million Americans? It's probably more like 50 million Americans that every day don't know the difference between there, and your. So those two would be my first that I would say. Then pronoun agreement, right? Every student must bring his or her book, not their, right? Or word order, right? Certain word orders, right? Sentence structure. Okay, so here is a website. Those two I mentioned are big, and then here is another one this is more like about words that people get mistaken. They mistake the meaning of. But there are some grammar mistakes too, like these. The 30 most common grammar mistakes. Okay? You saw the movie, it's fairly good. Okay, good. Yeah, read the book. Read the book for sure. Can I explain the paradox of choice? Well, if I know what you're talking about, I'll take a guess. the paradox of choice is that you think that you have a choice, but physics and math actually says we don't. That everything is set. That there is no such thing as human choice. That fate is written. Mathematically, that's what math does say. But philosophically, we believe we have free will. Okay, so that's the paradox of choice. You think you're making choices, but maybe you aren't. Because maybe there is no choice. Maybe physics and space-time are concrete and static and written. Okay, did I miss anybody over here? No, I did not. Good. All right, guys, I think I'm going to go. I'm going to take a break. It's been an hour and 38 minutes, so I've done I usually try to do an hour and a half. Okay? If you didn't follow me yet, you should follow me. Here is my YouTube channel. Here is my website. And here is my blog. Go read my blog. Go watch my videos. Go check out my website. Thank you, Dana. Thank you guys for coming and watching and listening and participating. I hope you have a good morning or good afternoon or good evening wherever you live. How about tomorrow? I should be here tomorrow. Let me check my teaching schedule tomorrow. Yeah, I should be here tomorrow. I think I'll probably be here tomorrow a little bit later than today. Today I started earlier. So, yeah, probably tomorrow around 10 o'clock, 10:30 my time. Okay? All right. Take care, everybody. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.